Thinking that Chicago is a great sports town, but how do you know if you're making the most of what the city has to offer? Our next guest is the owner of a Chicago-based sports travel agency. Ann-Britt Stingle is also out with a new book for local residents and tourists alike, Sports Traveler Chicago. My first question, Ann-Britt, was this book your idea?
Yes, it was. I am the owner of Sports Traveler, which is a sports tourism company here in the city, and we do all different types of sporting events, both here in the city and all around the world.
Okay, so my first thought when I think about Chicago as a sports town is how do we stack up against other cities?
Well, I think it's the best sports town in the world, and I think definitely it's the best sports town in the United States. I mean, we were up for the 2016 Olympic bid, and we won all the way up to the finals. So I think that just shows that we are an international sports presence.
Well, we're in the thick of the football season, and I didn't know that Soldier Field actually offered tours.
Yes, they do. It's a fantastic tour. It's profiled in the book, Sports Traveler Chicago, and fans can go around and see all of the different patriotic World War I memorials, and as well as get on the field, and it's a great time. One
of the biggest sports tourism events in Chicago is the Chicago Marathon, which is coming up this weekend, and you've devoted several pages to this event. What do folks want to know about the marathon?
Well, they want to know how to plan for the day. That is probably, even as a spectator, one of the most exhausting events you can go to. So we profile in the book about where to go, what to see, and how to plan your day out and pace yourself while you're trying to follow the runners.
When I think about the United Center as a sports venue, I think about that huge statue of Michael Jordan. Yes. That's got to be a pretty big draw, huh?
It's probably the biggest draw in that stadium. Of course, it's the host of the Blackhawks and the Bulls, and we have the Blackhawks opening this weekend.
Then there's U.S. Cellular Field, and of course, well, we're looking at the Blackhawks now. Do they draw any tourists at all?
They do. We have a big rivalry between the Detroit Red Wings and...
Right. So a lot of Detroiters
A lot of Detroit fans come here, and a lot of Canadian fans come down to see the Blackhawks play, too.
So I want to move on to baseball, because we got U.S. Cellular Field, but Wrigley Field, of course, is the one that stands out. And you even talk about Ronnie Woo Woo in your book.
We do. We have a section called Who is Ronnie Woo Woo.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans have been very interested in him over the years. He stands outside and chants, and it's a big tourist attraction for folks, and also locals alike wanted to know more about him.
So what is the biggest sports attraction for tourists in Chicago?
Well, getting back, it has to be Wrigley Field. It's
okay.
Our grandfathers went there. It's a big, it's a big deal for families to go. And fans will forever want to see the Cubs play, whether they win or lose.
And this, as the Tribune gets closer to actually selling the Cubs. But, and what do people, to the best of your knowledge, do they want the Wrigley Field to stay the way it is, or... are they afraid of modifications, as they've talked about updating Wrigley Field?
I think fans want it to stay the same. It's classic. It's a classic baseball venue. It's one of the last old-time ballparks in the United States. So I think fans want to keep it the same and keep traveling to see it.
Yeah, and our grandpas want it to stay
Absolutely.
the same, too. Ann-Britt Stingle, and the book is Sports Traveler Chicago. Everything you need to know if you're coming into Chicago from out of town about our great sporting venues and attractions. Thanks, Ann-Britt. Awesome.
Thank you.
Ann-Britt also has a couple of book signings coming up this Saturday from 1 to 5 at Borders Bookstore on North Michigan Avenue. Check it out.
Opportunity